Imagine living in a region twice the size of Massachusetts and barely seeing a soul. That's Eastern Oregon. While the western half of the state grabs all the headlines, Portland, tech, rain, the East is a different world entirely. Wide open, rugged, isolated. It's a place where some towns have more cattle than people, where you drive 3 hours for a hospital and pass maybe 4 cars on the way, and where the local high school might only have 8 students left. So why does almost nobody live here anymore? And for those who stay, how do they survive it? This isn't just a story about empty land, it's about a cultural divide, a fading economy, and a part of America that feels like it's been left behind. Let's head east and find out what really happened to half the state of Oregon. Reason number 1, isolation that feels like exile. Eastern Oregon isn't just rural, it's remote. Some counties span hundreds of miles with no major city, and in many towns you can drive for an hour without passing another car. Grocery stores? Gas stations? Hospitals? You better plan ahead because the nearest one might be 70 miles away. This isn't the kind of peaceful seclusion people dream of. It's the kind that comes with real costs, social disconnection, delayed emergency help, and a feeling that you're on your own. For elderly residents, that isolation can be dangerous. For younger families, it's a deal breaker. And then there's the sheer silence. For some, it's serenity. For others, it feels like exile, especially when paired with crumbling roads, vanishing neighbors, and entire towns that feel like they've hit pause on the 1980s. This is life in Eastern Oregon, empty space, beautiful and brutal. Reason number 2, a state divided, the rural-urban rift. Eastern Oregon doesn't just feel distant in miles, it feels cut off from the rest of the state entirely. While Portland and the Western Corridor dominate Oregon's politics, economy, and cultural conversation, the East is left watching from the sidelines. People here often say they have more in common with Idaho than with the Willamette Valley, and they mean it, literally. The Greater Idaho Movement, a real political effort to shift the state line and join Idaho, is gaining traction in counties that feel forgotten by Salem and overruled by Portland's values. The divide isn't just political, it's personal. Rural residents see their way of life clashing with urban priorities, guns, land use, environmental rules, taxes. Many feel like decisions are made by people who've never stepped foot in their communities. This is more than a red versus blue issue. It's about control, identity, and who gets to shape Oregon's future. Reason number 3, shrinking towns and vanishing youth. In Eastern Oregon, you can drive for hours and pass through towns that feel stuck in time or already fading away. Schools are merging or closing, main streets are dotted with boarded-up shops, and the sound most missing, children playing. The youth are leaving fast. Once they graduate high school, many head off to college, trade programs, or bigger cities, and don't come back. Why would they? The job prospects are slim, the internet's unreliable, and social life can feel non-existent. With every class that leaves and doesn't return, communities lose more than just numbers. They lose future teachers, nurses, business owners, the next generation of neighbors. It's a quiet but relentless exodus, and those left behind, often older residents trying to hold things together, knowing their towns may not survive another decade without fresh blood. Reason number 4, harsh climate, harder living. Eastern Oregon isn't just remote, it's relentless. Summers regularly hit triple digits, turning dry fields into fire hazards and making outdoor work grueling. Winters flip the script. Icy roads, deep snow, and wind chills that can bite harder than the economy. Farming and ranching, the region's economic backbone. Don't get snow days or heat warnings. You work through it or you don't make it. Droughts dry up crops, wildfires scorch grazing land, and unpredictable seasons keep even the toughest folks guessing. And while Western Oregon enjoys its rainy greenery, the eastern half lives with dust, smoke, and extreme weather swings. Climate resilience isn't a buzzword here, it's a way of life. For many, the beauty of this rugged land is worth the hardship, but the climate keeps raising the bar, and fewer people are willing or able to clear it. If you had the chance to live on a quiet piece of land, surrounded by nature but hours from a hospital or decent Wi-Fi, would you do it? Drop a yes or no way in the comments. We're curious how many of you could handle the trade-offs. Now let's talk about what really keeps people from coming back. Reason number 5, no jobs, no future. Eastern Oregon's economy is built on foundations that are cracking. Agriculture, logging, mining. These industries once supported entire towns. Today, automation, environmental regulations, and shifting global markets have shrunk those opportunities to a fraction of what they were. Young people grow up seeing the writing on the wall, a future of part-time farm work, limited upward mobility, and little access to new industries. That's why so many leave and so few return. High-paying sectors like tech, finance, or advanced manufacturing, nearly non-existent east of the Cascades. Small businesses struggle to survive without a strong customer base, and attracting new employers is an uphill battle when infrastructure is aging and the talent pool is leaving. For many towns, the local school or post office is the biggest employer. When that closes, the spiral continues. Without jobs, families leave. And when families leave, so do the services. The result? A region stuck in economic limbo, not poor enough for major aid, not strong enough to thrive. Reason number 6, healthcare? Good luck. In much of Eastern Oregon, getting medical help isn't just inconvenient, it can be dangerous. Entire counties lack full-service hospitals. Some don't even have maternity wards, forcing pregnant women to drive hours for basic care. Imagine being in labor, and your closest option is 100 miles away. Specialists? Forget it. Many residents rely on small clinics that operate part-time or with traveling physicians who rotate in once a week. Mental health services are nearly non-existent in rural areas, and addiction treatment is out of reach for many, financially and geographically. Emergency care is even more dire. If you're injured in a remote area, it could take 45 minutes or more for an ambulance to arrive, longer if the weather is bad or the roads are icy. In some cases, airlift is the only option, and it's financially devastating. For seniors and chronically ill patients, the lack of consistent care is a ticking time bomb, and without hospitals, healthcare jobs vanish too, deepening the cycle of economic decline. Healthcare in Eastern Oregon isn't just underfunded, it's hanging by a thread. Reason number 7, forgotten by the government. Eastern Oregon often feels like the part of the map that policymakers forgot. Roads crumble for years before they're fixed. Public transportation, virtually non-existent. And when it comes to things like broadband internet, a basic necessity today, some towns still rely on dial-up speeds or nothing at all. Schools are another casualty. Shrinking populations and budget cuts mean many local districts have consolidated or shut down entirely. Some families now drive over an hour just to get their kids to school, while others have turned to homeschooling because there's simply no other option. Grants and federal support often flow to urban areas like Portland or Eugene, while rural counties are left to fend for themselves. Even basic utilities and infrastructure projects move at a snail's pace if they happen at all. It's not just neglect, it's a slow erosion of opportunity. When the systems people rely on fade away, so do their reasons to stay. Reason number 8, the people who stay. Despite the challenges, Eastern Oregon isn't empty. It's home to some of the toughest, most resilient people in the country. Ranchers, farmers, hunters, and multi-generational families who value independence, hard work, and land passed down through decades. These are folks who fix their own fences, grow their own food, and help neighbors during wildfire evacuations or harsh winter storms. Community still matters here. Potlucks, county fairs, and high school football games are the heartbeat of local life. But even the proudest Oregonians feel the pressure. As young people leave and services vanish, the weight of maintaining this way of life grows heavier. Some worry their small towns will disappear entirely or be absorbed into political decisions made hundreds of miles away by people who've never set foot on their land. Still, they stay, not because it's easy, but because it's home. Eastern Oregon is vast, beautiful, and fiercely independent, but it's also struggling. Shrinking towns, vanishing services, and a deep political divide are forcing residents to make hard choices. Stay and fight for a way of life they love, or leave in search of something easier. It's not a story of failure, it's a story of resilience in the face of being forgotten. Would you live in a place like this? Let us know in the comments, especially if you're from Oregon or considering moving to the eastern side of the state. Like this video if you want to see more about the real stories behind America's overlooked regions, and subscribe for more weekly videos on U.S. states, small towns, and the places people are leaving behind or fighting to keep alive.